so wait. Charlie, you're so wait. Charlie, you're so wait. So you challenge Charlotte to a match?
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for Talkamania.
It's Rusev Day. Finish with you! That, my friend, is gonna leave a mark.
I love black eyes.
Where are you, Dango?
All before you were wearing a training bra.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Talkamania. I'm your host, Des, with my tag team partner, J-Bone. Say howdy, J-Bone.
Howdy, bro. How's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. As you know, the fans don't know, I have 2 weeks off vacation, so I've been trying to make the most of it.
Damn, speaking of vacation, dude, I'm not going to say depression, but there's a little bit of depression going on. I miss Florida, man.
A little bit of the depression mode?
Yeah, honestly, I thought it would be a good idea to, leave beautiful, sunny Montreal, jump on a plane, go all the way down to beautiful sunny Florida, and then I wouldn't be so upset when I got back because it's still summer. No, the reverse. It's almost ruined my summer. Because it was so much nicer there.
Yeah, well, you missed the dirty heat wave that we had. But, so I'm kind of in a different boat where, for me, if I have 2 weeks off, right, and I haven't had time off for about a year and a half, maybe close to 2 years. So I kind of just said, you know what, screw this. I'm going to take 2 weeks off, the summer of Mike, or Des, for those of you who know my internet persona. The summer of Mike, and I'm going to take 2 weeks off and make them productive. I don't really want to sit down on the couch and do nothing. I will get depressed if I do nothing. So I have, some friends of mine, I work in the gaming industry, so they'll sit down and they'll just play games every night, and they're okay with that. Me, no. I need to be doing something with my time. So I made a bucket list of things I was going to do and basically started doing some home repairs. And today I started staining my fence. So a lot of work, but at the same time, it feels good to get things done that I've been sitting on. But obviously not real good time to rest.
Yeah, well, you got to put some video gaming in there, man. You got to catch up.
It's funny. So on day one of my vacation, I drove over to see my brother in Chattagay, and we went swimming with my niece, my sister. I don't see them very often. They're from the T-Dot. That was fun. And then on Tuesday, today's Wednesday, right? So on Tuesday, I planned to go to the store, get my stain for my fence and a whole bunch of stuff. I got there, and I just didn't really... I was indecisive yesterday. I was just I was in that lazy mode, because it was vacation. So I actually went home and I did game all day. I ended up playing Persona 5. It's an amazing game, folks, for those of you who like the game. Hey, and if your listeners like the game, add me, man. PS4, Xbox One, Desmino. DEZMINO. Add me. Let's play. But for those of you who haven't played it, awesome game, Persona. I ended up finally finishing that game. I was so close to the end. And then it's just funny, those games you have RPGs and you fight the final boss, but then you didn't beat the final boss, and there's a second form, and then once you beat that boss, there's another one. Well, this game just went on forever.
I'm gonna pretend I know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, J-Bomb's not
an RPG guy.
He'll play Call of Duty and stuff like that. But
hey, dude, I played Zelda.
But yeah, you did play it. But that was the first I guess quasi RPG you played in ages. But you did like it.
I think Donkey Kong 64. That's an RPG for me.
Right. But the game was fantastic, and it was just I thought there was 1 hour left in it, so I'm I'll just finish off the game, put on my bucket list, because I have a big backlog of video games. And seriously, man, I think 4 hours later I finished it, just because it was just boss after boss after story, which really made it cool, because it really made it it's really well worth your money, this game. And the game's fantastic, first of all. So check it out, folks. Persona 5. Awesome.
What else?
Today,
what else do our listeners have to check out?
Well, I'll tell you, folks. They got to check us out on the Twitter @_Talkamania, guys. Check us out. You were also with us this last Sunday for Extreme Rules on Periscope. We've got a lot of viewers. We've got some new followers as well, too. That was a success. So make sure to jump on Periscope and follow us as well. Also, folks, You know that shiny little logo you see in Twitter? It's beautiful. It's quite astonishing. Well, we put those on T-shirts now. So head over to prowrestlingtees.com/Talkamania, and you got your picks. We got our black and white. We got our white and black. We got our classic logo, and we got our summer tee, folks. Check it out.
Cool thing about it is if you buy one, 4 weeks of ads on the podcast. So that's freaking awesome. Des, you kicked off your 2-week vacation with style. We got together, we sat down, we watched Extreme Rules. I mean, it was fun to chill. It was great to have beers. The pay-per-view itself was... there was highs and lows, that's for sure. There was definitely highs and lows. But we saw some winners of the night. We saw Sanity win big. We saw B-Team win big. What do you think it meant for Sanity to finally pick up that big W against a team like the New Day, especially?
So yeah, I think that's a great point to hit first offhand, because Sanity hadn't been seeing, I guess, too much of a successful debut when they first came to SmackDown. They were teased to us for quite some time, and when they finally made their debut, they attacked some tag teams, but when it came down to wrestling some matches, they picked up a couple, or I guess were victims of a couple of losses. And some people were like, well, why are you booking Sanity this way? You're making them lose right away. Which, I mean, I'm all about going against the typical recipes where, like, oh, someone's debuting, so they're going to just squash whoever it is. I guess that's why they bring in development talent as well, too. So it makes it a little bit easier for people like me. But, yeah, New Day did the favors at Extreme Rules in the table match. It was a great match, actually, to be honest with you. And we also saw that again on SmackDown this week. We had one of the members from Sanity take on Kofi Kingston and pick up a win. So you see that the New Day is starting to give back, give some credibility to Sanity, and I think it's only a matter of time until Sanity, maybe, who knows, maybe they'll take on the Bludgeon Brothers. I don't know. But Sanity, at least, are on the right track. That's good to see. So I think based on getting that big win at Extreme Rules, they are a winner.
All right, the B team also came out of Extreme Rules. The match was rushed. I know me and you were sitting on the couch kind of looking at us going, okay. The finish was, I mean, the move was pretty cool. I'm not gonna deny that. But the best...
You mean Bo Dallas' finisher off the top?
Yeah,
rope?
well, it was kind of like
when he's bridged against the top rope?
Yeah, kind of like old school Randy Orton, but...
old school Randy
Orton. When he puts his legs on the thing and DDTs him? He kind of...
Oh, yeah. Right, from the top rope. Yeah,
the best part for me of their victory has been this freaking celebration.
But is that all they are?
Of course that's all they are. And that's all that we need from them. I mean, I think Bo Dallas is a good wrestler, and I'm sure Curtis Axel's a decent wrestler, but there's a lot of decent wrestlers on the main roster. I want some fun. And they bring the fun, and I think the timing was right. How do you see it?
Yeah, well, I mean, these guys were quite, I guess, hyped by the crowd. The WWE's really high on them. Like you said, the match was quite rushed. And that was kind of the case for most of the matches at Extreme Rules. So you got to kind of enjoy it for what it was. The one thing taken out of it that I did not enjoy was they didn't really play on Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt being brothers. And I think they could have taken advantage of this heading into the pay-per-view itself. And then finally, if you don't do it, that's one thing. But then the match itself, they kind of face off one-to-one. And then Bo Dallas tags himself out looking like the coward. So I think if
Blue balls, baby, blue balls.
Yeah, it does give us a little bit of blue balls. But I think if anything, Bray Wyatt should have been one to tag out. But I guess these two guys are, they're always cowards, I guess. But I don't know. It's not the typical face thing to do to tag out. And they should be playing on the fact that they're brothers. People know it. Stop denying it. So that would be nice. I would also like to see... So here's the thing that's interesting, right? It's like, I've been complaining that Curtis Axel's finisher is really stupid. And he needs to have some variation of the perfect plex. Well, Bo Dallas kind of does like that spin where he could do a perfect plex. So it's kind of like they're giving it to the wrong guy.
It's almost like a crossroads that he does. Like,
it's exactly
what it is,
but
okay.
Off the ropes. Yeah, but off the ropes. So it's nice. It looked really good in the pay-per-view. I think Bo Dallas is definitely, I guess,
he's underrated.
Yeah, he definitely is. He's got to be a little bit less goofy. When he did win, maybe it was the following night on Raw. I don't remember, but he was like, Yeah, no, it was actually at the pay-per-view. He's like, all you have to do is beat Bobby Lashley. It was kind of like he's going to say believe, but he didn't. But it's like that little voice, like, all you have to do is both. Like, I mean, his voice is so it's shrilly, I guess. But I don't know. I like him. I just want them to play on the brothers. But Bray Wyatt did say this week on Raw they're going to fight, and this will be like their deletion, or they're going to consume them or whatever. I would like to see these two kind of like maybe become zombie kind of followers of the, or at least like maybe Bo Dallas, and then turns on Curtis Axel or something. I don't know. I want to see something with the brothers. I think they should work together. They want to work together. I think
it's going to come. I think the payout's going to be there. I don't know if I want to see the B team necessarily, be deleted or start following them, because I honestly am enjoying this. I think the celebration should go all the way to SummerSlam. Like, they should just be celebrating constantly.
Well, that's kind of their thing, like I said, right? And then you see teams like Authors of Pain come out, right? Just destroy their competition. And I'm like, how would the B team even... Why aren't these guys the number one contenders? Like, doesn't make sense to me. There's so many other stronger teams on the roster, but sure. Okay.
Other huge winners of the night, for me especially, it's completely changed the way that I see them. Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns had a great match. I mean, okay, hold on. I'm not going to say it's a great match or, didn't steal a show by any means, but to me it was probably... The ending was awesome. It was surprising, unexpected, and the match carried itself pretty well, so I was pretty happy with the whole thing. Yeah,
I think you kind of nailed my perspective as well. I know you got a lot of heat for, kind of giving your opinion out there, saying it was your match of the night. And I don't feel like you should feel ashamed to feel that way, because it could very well have been. Not just because of the wrestling itself. The match was good. They had good chemistry. They fed well with each other. Bobby Lashley took that cool bump out of the ring. It looked pretty brutal. Then they went to the table. There was some great stuff back and forth. And then, guys, Bobby Lashley beats Roman Reigns. And then beats him with a spear. And then he wins again this week with the spear. So what does that say? So is he using the spear now instead of that stalling vertical suplex?
I fucking hope so, because I hate the stalling vertical.
Yeah. It's only a matter of time until he drops somebody on his head anyways. But, I was really, really excited, because I'm big, again, for not following the typical recipes. And for me, this came out of nowhere. I was like, really? You got
like the spear. The spear came out of nowhere, too.
Roman Reigns never gets one finishing and doesn't kick out. That was it. It was, wow. I was very, very surprised.
So is Bobby Lashley's spear stronger than 5 F5s?
Well, I think it looks really weak. I will give Roman Reigns that, in terms of giving a spear, he's one of the best.
Yeah,
making it look like, he's pretty good. It depends who's selling it to. I mean, I think they did a compilation of him spearing Ziggler, and Ziggler just looks like he gets broken in half.
Ziggler's such a good... He's selling.
Good, eh? Yeah, he's great.
There was...
But
you got more?
I want to go... I want to point out, we're talking about big winners of the night, folks. And we're talking about Bobby Lashley. He beat Roman Reigns with the spear. Yeah. He's a winner. Yeah. But you know what, folks? Roman Reigns is also a winner. And you want to know why? Because it makes him more believable. It makes him more normal. It makes him less immortal.
One of the dudes, man. One of the dudes.
That's it. We're always complaining that Roman Reigns always wins. Always wins. Well, there you have it, folks. Stop complaining. He lost.
I don't remember the last time he won, other than against Mahalway.
I just like the fact that it's look, it was a clean loss, too. There wasn't an asterisk. There was no asterisk beside this one.
None.
It was a clean loss. So now Roman Reigns can be defeated, and he's not in the main event of the card.
Yeah, that was huge. So that was big, too. That helped.
That's it. That's all they need, is just don't make him number one every single second of every single day, and people will start to come around. I think Roman Reigns just has to keep doing what he's doing, and I know there's going to be a time where he's going to be going in the Hall of Fame, and the crowd's going to be saying, you deserve it. And after all the shit he's going through after all these years, they're finally going to come around. He's just earning it the really, really, really hard way.
I still can't get over. I hope he comes out to that song. Bobby Lashley gained a lot of respect, I think, from a lot of people with that bump he took to the outside.
Yeah, that was the bump that I was mentioning in the match. He fell outside. It looked pretty brutal in the way he fell, too. Yeah, and he's a big guy, too. He's got hard muscle. It's not like he's got a lot to pad it. So.
Hard muscle.
I'm sure he was feeling that.
Dude, we got to talk about Kevin Owens. I mean, the match itself was, it kind of lacked, some...
I felt it was short.
It was short. It lacked, a really good story. I mean, it was kind of rushed. Predictable. And then all of a sudden...
Was it?
It was predictable.
Oh, until the ending.
Until the ending. But we did kind of call it. Once they got up in the cage, we were like, oh my God, he's going to fucking throw him off. 100% he's going to throw him off through that table. And I just couldn't believe the way that it went, they went through with it. Because, he literally didn't even jump. Braun threw him off.
Not just that, he also had to like make sure he landed in the right spot. He wasn't looking.
Braun
where
had
he
to
was
make sure
landing.
he's throwing him into the right spot. It was sketchy, man.
It was intense. People were comparing it to the fall that Mick Foley took, and well, pretty much, yeah, it is. I think the cell might have been a little bit taller, but
there was
matter.
no airbag for Mick.
Well, this wasn't. I mean, even with that airbag or that that little cardboard or fluffy piece, I mean, like I don't know, they did a pretty good job minimizing the way that looked. And I don't know, man. That fall, Kevin Owens. Oh my God, he is a huge winner. I mean,
is he the riskiest WWE superstar, main roster superstar of this era?
I would say circumstantially, yes. I mean, there could be somebody else in the roster who'd be willing to do something crazier, but it seems like KO's always wanting to do something
crazier. It's his
crazier.
time right now to be that guy.
Well, I remember him also in like a year or two ago at WrestleMania. There was that, was it WrestleMania or Money in the Bank? There was a ladder match, and he just getting thrown on ladders, and I was just like, man, this guy will take a beating. And then, every time there's a chance to be put in a gimmick match, he'll take a big bump. So Kevin Owens definitely will take a bump, and dude, oh wow, fantastic, loved
Good boy
it.
from Montreal.
Yeah,
dude, the main event, the crowd was shit.
They were awful, man. What's up with you, man?
It's weird. It's just like, dude, it's Seth Rollins, Dolph Ziggler, and I mean the fans have been wanting Ziggler to be this guy forever. I think you mentioned it, or I don't know if it was you, if I read it, but it was the first time that the IC title main event at a pay-per-view in like 17 years or something.
Yeah, I think Rollins mentioned it.
Did you see
or Ziggler?
Did you see
mentioned
Rollins'
it, actually,
tweet there where he just counted down from 10? It was just 10, 9,
No.
8 right after the pay-per-view.
No, I didn't.
It
see
had
that,
like
no.
some of the most retweets I've seen on a wrestler's tweet in a long time.
Well, it's funny because you can actually see some videos of them like talking during the match, Ziggler and Rollins, and like the clock came off the screen, so the fans couldn't count. And then the fan were just making up the count, and then you hear them saying like, "It's worse now that the thing's down. Bring it back, And they were using that also the time, the finishes and the pins.
Of course,
so
they needed it.
Yeah, yeah. So ridiculous and not cool at all. I mean, Ziggler and Rollins, these two guys have been the highlight of Raw for weeks now, and maybe they weren't happy about the rest of the pay-per-view. I understand that. But you know what? You guys just probably got yourself out of having a pay-per-view or maybe even a Raw in a very they're not going to come back for a while. I would assume to punish them at least.
Well, let's hope. I mean, they didn't reward Montreal, so I don't know. Maybe they don't punish.
Well, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised. I'm probably sure you wouldn't. The only reason why they're not going to get a pay-per-view in Montreal is because we can only fit 27,000 people in our arena.
That's a lot.
You can't do a mass.
That's more than most of the ones that they go to.
Yeah, but look at one of the main ones like SummerSlam.
Yeah. We'll never get a.
They're gonna want a larger.
Yeah.
Larger.
We'll never get a main four.
So I think we'll be more likely to get Raws and SmackDowns in the future, which is great. I actually accidentally deleted the Montreal Raw off my PVR, and it broke my heart. Damn.
Yeah.
If anybody knows a way to get access to old Raws or watch Raws, let me know.
I can tell
Hit
you
me up
how.
on the Twitter.
IPTV, my friend.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so we love the match, right? When we were talking, the only real complaint or change we would have made was maybe, there was a lot of pinfalls, there was a lot of counts. I think it would have been pretty cool to see Ziggler go up 1-0 and then literally not get pinned for the rest of the match until right at the end. I think that they could have still accomplished the same storytelling with Drew McIntyre, but just in overtime. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought there was too many falls as well too. A 1-0 doesn't need to be the case, but 2-1 or 3-2, something really close. Where I think Ziggler should just kept taking beatings and beatings and beatings and kicking out and kicking out and kicking out, and then maybe ties it right at the end, and then Drew McIntyre pops out. Yeah. Outside of that, it was a good match though. I enjoyed it. I like the story that was told. You have Ziggler holding on to the IC title. I'm curious where that goes from there, however. So we'll see. But awesome. I liked it. I liked that it main evented the event, too. I think that was fantastic.
Yeah, before we switch over to Raw and SmackDown, I got to... you mentioned to me that the mystique of Asuka is officially dead, especially with what went down in Extreme Rules.
We have to talk about this.
Yeah, we got to get Salty Dez involved on this one.
So... before you think I'm going to rip into Carmella, again, week after week I've been telling you, I don't mind Carmella. I don't mind her as champion. But this wasn't even a match. It really wasn't. There was barely any wrestling. And the only offense that Carmella got, she pushed Asuka into the cage, which bumped her head, and then she got pinned. The thing that bothers me about this, not the loss, whatever. It should have been a DQ. It should have been whatever. Even if she would have beat her, it's fine. But that was the first bit of offense she got during that match, you know? And you can see that, she hit her head into steel. Dude, do you remember Asuka? You remember in NXT, the battle she had with Bayley, the battle she had with Nikki Cross, the battle she had with Ember Moon? You could not pin this woman. You would hit the Eclipse off the top rope, hit her with a super kick, do whatever you got to do. You couldn't pin her. And now everybody can pin her, the worst thing about it is Carmella. I think like making Peyton Royce or the other one pin her would be the worst part of it all. So it's like, I mean, like that would be making it even worse. But Carmella, who's like not even putting on a wrestling match, like I'm not saying she can't wrestle. I'm not gonna be one of those people that jump on and say she can't wrestle, but like wrestle, put on a match. You know, like
nobody wrestled in the match.
It's funny because your champions aren't even wrestlers. Your women champions, right? Alexa Bliss, you know, she can back it up and hang around. I get it, but Carmella, it's just like, and next week she gets a celebration again. Holy.
I don't think she's getting it. She's not getting it.
Well, she says she asked for a celebration next week, and Paige says if you beat Becky Lynch, which I guess won't happen.
No, Becky's winning.
Anyway, my big thing is, folks, like, look, she had 2 pay-per-views to take out Carmella. And this was ridiculous. And the match was a hot mess. I mean, you have James Ellsworth hanging from the cage, and then his whatever it was, his protector, his back protector, his whole body protector got exposed. And then Asuka starts kicking the crap out of him after the match. It would have been a little bit more effective if perhaps that, you know, we wouldn't have seen that he was protected. And
she should have turned around and just kicked him in the stomach.
I don't know, man. She should have like shoved her head into the grate, like. Then, you know, hit her with a super kick or rolled her up or something. Like, I would buy a roll up over. It's it. That's it. They ruined her.
I don't think there's anything they could have done to make that match good.
And now it's just going to have to be me getting over the fact that they ruined her, and it's really, really, really tough. And it just really boggles my mind that WWE doesn't see what they've done, and they spend so much time protecting people on losses. But it's like, why don't you just try to protect her a little bit better? The initial loss against Carmella should have been a roll-up when James Ellsworth was there. And then that could have been a DQ, you know? James Ellsworth came out of the cage. Asuka could have won.
My favorite part of our podcast.
Asuka could have won, and then James Ellsworth was out of the cage, which caused a disqualification or something. I don't know. Think better. But now, Asuka, what is she now? She's soft. Maybe they could play a storyline where she's not the same anymore, and then she has to build back into that kind of fierce, unstoppable, I guess, role that she had. But yeah, that's it. And then on SmackDown, she wasn't even there. So I think that's it. And now Carmella's moving on to Becky Lynch. So
bye.
I'm so frustrated.
Well, maybe, you know, Asuka's going to move on to bigger and better things.
Put her back in NXT and just have her destroy the roster down. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Okay, so is Kane injuries legit?
Kane's injury is legit. Apparently, he rolled his ankle or hurt his Achilles tendon going into Extreme Rules when they were doing that outside the ring attack with the Bludgeon Brothers, and them doing that angle backstage was simply to kind of be like, hey, he's got a cast on now. But he already had a cast on. There's a picture of him actually doing his politics spiel, and he's actually wearing the boot a couple days before Extreme Rules. So it's legit. It wasn't some kind of weird angle. They broke up the Hell Team Hell No now, and apparently Kane won't be back for a little bit because he's got to finish some of his politicking. So that's it, folks. Hell Team Hell No was short-lived. But the one good thing comes out of this now is we are fast-tracking to The Miz versus Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam.
Oh, and we'll get there. Before we move on, the Nakamura-Jeff Hardy match, okay, especially with what we've seen on SmackDown, I don't understand why they had to do that at the pay-per-view. I mean, I was pretty excited for that match. I haven't seen a really entertaining Jeff Hardy match in a while, so I was really looking forward to that. I thought starting it off with a low blow was great, but then to end it right away and to win the championship that way, it was just a little bit confusing because they did it, like, Randy Orton still came out on SmackDown. So they could have literally done all of that at Extreme Rules and then done everything that happened in Extreme Rules on SmackDown.
Yeah, but then that would mean Randy Orton would have to work twice that week, and he probably wouldn't have wanted to do that.
But he did anyways. He was there both nights.
No, I know. Yeah, no, I guess, yeah, fair point. I see that's how memorable he is. I don't even remember Randy Orton.
Oh, I gotta say, man, if they do, because Corey Graves was like, but why? If they can come up with a pretty good storyline as to why it's happening, I'm fully invested in this, and I have not been invested in anything Randy Orton, except for like when he first joined the Wyatt family.
Is this still going to involve the U.S. title? That's what I'm wondering. Nakamura just still going to be there? It's going to be a three-way for the U.S. title? It probably will. I don't really see what else Nakamura is going to be doing. But to your point, I don't know why it happened, and that's what upset me, because Nakamura was fighting for the championship for months and months and months and months. He doesn't win it, and then he wins the U.S. title, right? I knew he was going to do it. I knew he was going to do it. And then he wins it like that. That's his first gold in the WWE, just like that. And I get the low blowing thing. It's funny. I kind of enjoy it. But I thought it was because Jeff Hardy was injured, right? Because he's been having nagging back injuries, losing sensation in his fingers. So, okay, let's give the title to Nakamura. Jeff Hardy will take some time off. But no, that's not what happened, because they fought on SmackDown. So it made me very confused, because this is a match I was looking forward to. On paper, Extreme Rules looked so good.
Stacked,
and
yeah.
I think that's it. People were like, oh, it wasn't so bad. And I'm trying to look back at it and be like, okay, well, maybe it wasn't that bad. And it wasn't that bad, but I think I was disappointed because on paper it looked like such potential. And that was one of the matches I was looking forward to, seeing Jeff Hardy versus Nakamura. And I don't know why. They seem to rush a lot of matches. I don't know if they were running out of time or they thought the Iron Man match would take a lot longer. But, yeah, disappointing. And we'll see what happens with Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy. It could be interesting. And like you said, I'm very curious to see his angle on why he attacked Jeff Hardy, because I just remember from when we were in Montreal and on Miz TV, Randy Orton's like, no, me and Jeff are good. We're cool. And, yeah, I know he ended up giving Jeff Hardy the RKO that night. But it was more like, part of business, when it comes down to it, I'll give you an RKO. But the fact that, like, now he's, like, pulling him by the ear hole,
Yeah, that was disgusting. That's what I was going to mention next.
Yeah.
Dude, I had gauges. They've gotten pretty small. They weren't as big as Jeff's, obviously. But, dude, man, like, it was not bad at first. And then he just started pulling it so hard that, like, I had to cover my eyes. Like, I couldn't look at it.
Well, I figured that, some people pull, like, trucks with their earlobes, or they pull heavy objects with their earlobes and their balls and stuff like that, too. So it's like, I guess, I don't know why I went into balls there, folks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. But they're earlobes, and they stretch and stuff. So, like, I guess they're really resilient. Maybe there's not a lot of nerve endings there. I don't know. But, yeah, it was really gross and something that we weren't used to seeing, I guess. So it was kind of like, ugh.
Definitely not PG. Before we go any further, we're going to do some plugging, because we have, I think he's still going strong here. Rafael Esparza, at VSI Doc Sports. So he's a Talkamaniac. He bought a t-shirt. We're plugging him every week. So he's giving you $60 worth of premium member picks by texting the word wrestling to 29022. Now, this is to get you a free $60 credit that you can use like real cash to sign up for My Plays. And, of course, you can do all of that on DocSports.com. And like I said, if you're not following him on Twitter, get on it, man. VSI Doc Sports. Raphael. Guy's awesome. All right, so we got Raw. We got SmackDown. I found a pretty decent week this week. And this is why. I mean, first and foremost, we got to see Almas versus AJ Styles, man. And to me, that was like the highlight of the week, above and beyond anything else.
Yeah, that came as a surprise. So Raw and SmackDown for me, not the same opinion. They were a bit lackluster for me. I was looking for some good follow-ups. But Almas versus AJ Styles, I will agree with you, was a nice surprise.
Fuck yeah.
Love to see these two get in the ring with each other. They put on a good match. And those of you who are upset AJ beat Almas, get over it. I mean, it's AJ Styles. It's a WWE champion. What did you expect? They're not going to throw him in the title picture right away. And, he hit him with his knees to the face in the corner, and he didn't get the job done. But that's fine, man. He goes away as a winner. At least he's not fighting Sin Cara.
That's it. I mean, he was absolutely a winner. If you're losing to AJ Styles, no worries there, man. And he didn't lose easily. I know you said that you would have rather have seen a pin to make him look a little bit stronger. I'm okay with the tap out. That calf crusher, I put my son in that thing sometimes. That fucker's gonna hurt, man.
People call child services right now.
SmackDown also gave us some new insight and moving forward the story of Rusev Day. We saw Aiden English backstage with Lana. Again, Lana tripping up and down with that Russian accent.
Yeah, that whole conversation was a bit sloppy, but
I liked it.
Well,
I like the progression of the story.
I like that it's progressing finally, because I've been confused every week. It's like Lana's there, then she's not there, and then why is she coming out the ring? Like, can't they all be a group together? And, again, it was kind of inevitable this was going to happen. So it looks like the AJ Styles and Rusev match was the big turning point in the Rusev Day storyline. So it looks like Aiden English and Rusev will eventually inevitably be no more. And
that match is going to be good.
I'm assuming it's going to be at SummerSlam, right? Maybe he'll go out in the middle of the ring and apologize to Rusev, and then Rusev will just beat the crap out of Aiden. And then who's the good guy, who's the bad guy? I can't see Aiden being the good guy. Being the bad guy. Aiden will definitely be the good guy.
He's going to walk out good.
But then people are also going to be excited to see Rusev back with Lana. So let's see what happens. It's exciting nonetheless. I think it would be super cool if, let's say, Lana ends up, they break up Rusev Day, or at least Aiden English leaves, and it's Lana versus Rusev. So we saw
Lana versus Rusev?
Sorry, Lana with Rusev.
Okay.
So at the pay-per-view at Extreme Rules, we saw Rusev and Aiden English versus AJ Styles. I think it'd be cool to kind of push the feud on a little further, and then at SummerSlam, we get Rusev and AJ Styles, but this time Lana's in his corner. And then he gets the job done, and he actually they're back together. But
I'm on board.
Yeah.
If Rusev wins the championship, I don't care how it's happening, I'm on board.
Right, but that's not going to be the case, folks. I mean, we're going to find out next week who his opponent is at SummerSlam. Heavily rumored, and even in ads a month or so ago, that it's going to be AJ Styles versus, spoiler alert, Samoa Joe. And
I might be the only one who doesn't want to see this, but...
And he had attacked Ty Dillinger, I guess, before SmackDown last week, so we didn't really get to see much of it. And then this week he took on Ty Dillinger and beat him. So now that the fact that he's back on SmackDown and looking dominant makes me even more believe that it's going to be Samoa Joe. And he will, mark my words, folks, he will win the title off of AJ Styles at SummerSlam.
You got to think, getting back to Rusev, you got to think that they'll both be in the ring. He'll be looking at Aiden. Aiden will apologize. He'll turn around. Lana will look at Rusev and just go, crush.
Yeah. No, for sure it's going to happen. And the fans are going to love it and hate it.
They're going to love it and hate it. I don't know. Is there a way? There's no way that Rusev comes out the good guy. That's for sure. There's no way. Becky Lynch. Becky Balboa. Dude, it's about freaking time that she's going to be put back into the women's championship picture.
Let's just hope it's not short term this time.
I mean, if someone's going to dethrone Carmella, if it's not going to be Asuka.
Oh my God, you're right.
If it's not going to be
Asuka, I'll
Asuka,
agree with that statement.
All right, let it be Becky Lynch.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm not even salty about that, because I like Becky. She works hard and she's winning week after week, and the WWE's finally starting to put her back on the right track and see that she does the right things. I like Becky a lot. She works hard. She's personal. She's a sweetheart. So
She's hot.
She is very cute. Very, very,
God,
very
she's good
girl.
looking. Yeah?
And I don't know. I like her personality too. She's funny and quirky. But yes, she was winning match after match after match. She ended up fighting Mandy Rose, and I just want to backtrack on something, folks, because
Hold on, we got to talk about Mandy Rose. So.
that's it. That's what you. That's
it.
the
That's
talking
it.
we did. Okay.
She's looking good.
Her intro is funny, right? How I like the music. I'm down,
Yeah.
But then it's funny because Sonya Deville was walking with her, and she'd go in and out of focus because of the lens or the filter.
Filter.
Yeah, it looked really funny.
Oh, poor Sonya.
But I gave her a lot of credit, Mandy Rose, because she was improving and she was doing a lot better. Or was that Liv Morgan? I was giving Liv Morgan the credit, right?
You've given a few the credit.
I guess. And Liv Morgan has been improving, and I think Mandy Rose has been as well too. And I think I've mentioned that as well. However, I find this week she took a bit of a step back. The match was a bit sloppy. If you look back at it, there's a point where she goes to Becky's in the corner, and then Mandy runs to attack her. Becky moves, and then Mandy kind of stops and then throws her head at the corner, puts her hand out. It was just very bare basic. it looked really bad, and it was a lot of the moves were sloppy. When she put her into the armbar, she was just lying there waiting to have it put in. Like, I think Mandy Rose will get there. She hasn't been wrestling in a few weeks. Maybe that's it. But I wasn't too happy with her performance.
I don't know, and it's not a diss on Becky because I freaking love her, but I've noticed that a lot of people, when they fight Becky Lynch, the matches seem to be a bit sloppy. Like, even Charlotte has fought Becky Lynch, and they look a bit sloppy. They get better as they keep doing more matches. I don't know if maybe she has a style that's harder to fight against, and I'm not doing it to defend Mandy Rose because that thing in the corner had nothing to do with Becky. But Becky has weird timing in the ring.
I agree with that. I will agree with that statement that Becky does have weird timing.
But damn, is she good looking. Damn. Oh, yeah. Okay. The biggest, and I think we're both going to be in agreement here, the biggest takeaway from the entire week is that we are finally getting the feud we all deserve. You mentioned it earlier, but we are finally getting The Miz versus Daniel Bryan, and it's about fucking time. The payoff is here. SummerSlam is going to be real. Now, my question to you, will we see any involvement with Brie and Maurice?
That's a great question.
I fucking hope so.
I don't. I never thought.
I
of that.
really want it.
Kind of put me in the spot.
I did.
I would love to. I would love to. I'd love them both to be there at SummerSlam. Will Maurice be there? Is she good enough to be back in the public eye after having her child? I'm sure she's got to work off some of that baby.
I find it suits her. She looks super cute.
She did look good, but I mean, obviously, no doubt, she's gonna get back in shape. And Brie's in shape, and she's looking to have another run. I think it's a great opportunity. I would love to see them both ringside at SummerSlam at the very least, and then work into an angle going out of SummerSlam, because I don't think it's just going to end at SummerSlam.
Dude, goosebumps, bro.
Oh, he's got the goosies.
Goosies. Imagine coming out of SummerSlam, and at the following pay-per-view, it's Maurice in her return to singles competition against Brie. Just a one-off, the two of them. Like the battle of the baby bots.
But then people might say, like, well, that's kind of what was done with Cena and Nikki Bella versus Miz and Maurice.
No tag team. I'm just saying straight up Maurice versus Brie.
I don't think that's going to happen. You're going to see a tag team. It's going to be a tag team, if anything.
I want to see more Maurice in action. I missed her whole run, so.
I do miss her. I miss her little, like, hand thing she does when she walks out. She's like...
It's like the Titus O'Neil thing.
Yeah, it is like the... But Miz, Daniel Bryan, love that I'm seeing it. And, dude, the aggression that Daniel Bryan had when he came out, he was ready to kick ass, man. So
I feel like this is his first... This is the first emergence of the real Daniel Bryan since his return.
Yeah, absolutely. Could be. He was very, like, positive and happy to be back, and now he's aggressive again. And, let's see. I don't think Daniel Bryan actually has finalized his new contract.
No, he has not. Yeah.
No. So they're rushing through a lot of storylines like we had mentioned in the past. Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Team Hell No, The Miz. I think they're just trying to get it all done just in case we do lose him at the end of the year. I don't think so. I think he mentioned it in an interview. He'll probably resign because Brie Bella and the Bella show is also, Total Bellas, is also WWE realm. So he wants to kind of stay and respect that. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. I mean, could he really be on the show anymore if he's working independent, right? So
it'd be interesting, and it'd be a shame because he's somewhat of the best part of Total Divas and Total Bellas.
Well, that's it.
John Cena is a fucking crazy.
I think he'll be sticking around, folks.
Yeah. Okay, so we got to turn it on its head, and we got to get a little bit negative here. As good as all those things we just talked about, there was some stuff this week that continues to be a thorn in our sides. Bayley and Sasha continue to disappoint. What was so hyped when we thought we were seeing Bayley turn heel, could have been so good, man, so good, and we're stuck with what we have.
Well, it's funny they didn't see that crowd reaction and like a light bulb going off, like, oh my god, this is it, this is what they needed, this is what they wanted.
You know what? They probably did and said, fuck it. That wasn't our intention, so we're not going to go with it. And that's where I think WWE screws themselves.
Well, right. They also had Dr. Shelby, right, come in and like do his therapy session. So maybe they'd already signed him onto it, and they're like, okay, well, we have to do this anyways. But the thing is, even that therapy session, like WWE lost faith in it, or even didn't even care. Because you saw the first week they were there, they did the stupid, like, you tried to kill me, but now we're in a therapy session together. And I don't get how like they keep hurting each other, but then like walking back, like how many times is like, wait, Sasha, wait, Sasha, wait, Sasha, like every single week. And the second week of the therapy session, you didn't even see the therapist. Shelby wasn't even there. We saw his leg in a chair or something, but it's like they didn't even have the audio play. They pretty much wrote off the whole therapy session. And then this week, they're tagging together, and Angle's like, well, you have to get along, or somebody's going to SmackDown. It's like,
Weird.
Is that what happens when people don't get along? They just get shipped to different shows? Because the whole roster and every show would just completely implode every week.
That's like what the show is made for.
Well, that's it. But, then I think back, and I'm like, how many times has Sasha used to tweet that she wants to go to SmackDown? So it's this easy solution right there. Send her to SmackDown. But yeah, I think inevitably, since they're mentioning it, it's going to happen more than likely. Maybe Sasha's going to go to SmackDown, or maybe Bayley's going to go to SmackDown.
Who do you want to see on
knows?
SmackDown?
I wouldn't mind seeing Sasha go over there. I think she could do a lot. She can put on some great matches. So
Look, I think out of everything, what I really want to see, I think what a lot of people really want to see, is a heel Bayley. I want to see if she can pull it off. Maybe they pulled an audible. I don't know. Maybe they just weren't feeling. I don't know.
put her and Elias together.
Yeah, make them do it. Make them do it. Do it and do it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, we got to talk about Sarah Logan because she's no longer sleeping with alligators and crocodiles. She's a Viking now, bro.
A Minnesota Viking?
I don't know if she's a Viking yet, but, you know, soon to be. That's a horrible accent.
That was
I like
pretty
it.
bad.
To tell you the truth, I like it. I think the war paint stuff looks cool. I think,
But she always had the paint on her face. She always
No,
had like
she
some
didn't.
paint. She always had like on
She
her.
never had that. No, she never had
No,
that.
she always puts like some random paint on her eyes or her face. So
I think she just sucks at makeup, bro.
I thought it was
It's-
just wrestling and promos.
I think it's just dirty. It might just be alligator jizz, but it's
We just lost
confusing.
4 followers, but sure.
Yeah, we probably gained a whole bunch. And the fact that she beat Ember Moon, what's going on here? This is Sarah Logan's. Ember Moon took a loss.
Well, I think the fact that Ruby Riot's out, they have to decide what they want to do with these two and at least keep the momentum going for when Ruby comes back, which I think is quite soon. But, we saw Liv Morgan lose 2 times to Ember Moon. It seems like Ember Moon is on Riot Squad duty. I guess she'll end up fighting Ruby Riot when Ruby Riot comes back. We'll see. But, I think they're trying to give a little bit of a rub to Sarah Logan. I heard that her Viking gimmick was part of her independent scene gimmick, so she was a Viking on the independent scene. So cool. I guess that works. Maybe they're kind of going back to seeing what works. Her in-ring abilities, you guys might be Sarah Logan fans. I'm sorry. I'm not buying in on her yet.
It was better this week, though.
It was okay, and that was better, yes. But, she
was
went to the
okay.
roll-up, good for her. It's her first win on the main roster, and she's been on it for, 6 months, so that's pretty sad. I just find she needs to kind of find her niche when it comes to promos as well, too. Backstage, anytime she has an interview, she's kind of just not hitting the mark for me. Liv Morgan can do it. She's improving in the ring. Sarah Logan, just to me, always kind of seems a bit awkward, and I hope this whole Viking thing works out for her. Maybe she'll pick up momentum. Maybe it'll help her find her kind of, path in terms of getting on track. And, Ruby Riot will be back soon. And I think it's actually good for both of them, too, to have this time where Ruby's not there, because she was clearly the main focal point for quite some time. They're really putting a lot of spotlight on her. So now she kind of takes a back seat for the moment while she's injured. These two can kind of develop their talent, develop themselves as individuals, and then when Ruby comes back, they can be more complete as a team.
Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre. I see a note you have down here is that they weren't in the same segment this week. Now, I missed a good portion of Raw, so enlighten me on this.
Oh, it's pretty straightforward. We had Drew McIntyre come out during the opening segment. So, he's being put in this triple threat match. So, right off the bat, we find out Brock Lesnar is going to be defending his title at SummerSlam. And to determine who it's going to be, we're going to have 2 triple threat matches. And in one of those triple threat matches, we see Drew McIntyre. He comes out. And I'm pretty excited because he's inserting himself into the main event picture. He didn't win the match, but it was great to see. But Ziggler wasn't around during this match. He didn't help out, Drew McIntyre. And then later on, when Ziggler had his match with He Who Shall Not Be Named,
Fuck his ass.
Drew McIntyre was not around. So it's very strange. And they've been doing this big thing, though, where people don't show up in multiple segments. I even noticed the same when Dana Brooke was involved. She didn't come out with Titus Worldwide. So I think that's it. I don't think you should read into it too much at this point yet. Maybe Drew and Ziggler will be back together next week. But I thought it was a bit strange that Drew and Ziggler both had their own segments. And Drew even mentioned, I didn't come back to be Ziggler's, lackey or to be beside Ziggler and coming back for the title. make a statement. So I don't know if it means that they're separating for now, or sometimes they'll be in different segments. But whatever. I was just kind of stood out to me, and I thought that was a bit interesting that they decided to be like, well, Ziggler, he retained his Intercontinental title because of Drew McIntyre, and then the very next night they're just not hanging out. So, a bit odd.
Maybe they got mad at one another. Maybe, maybe one snored the night before. I don't know. Baron Corbin, we talked about this during the pay-per-view. He's a constable, right? You brought up a good point. Why isn't he persuading the refs and using, his power to win some fucking matches here?
He should be. He should be using that influence. I thought it'd be super cool. I keep saying super cool, and it sounds super lame.
Super cool? You're very Valley girl.
It would be really neat. It'd be neato.
Neato burrito?
Neato burrito. If, let's say, for instance, at Extreme Rules, Finn got that picked up that win. He did the roll-up. He got the 3 count. But then he talks to the ref. He's like, no, that was 2. And he's like, it was a 3 count. It was 2. I'm the constable. It was a 2 count. And the ref's forced to be like, okay, it was a 2 count. Ended up giving him the 3 count when it wasn't a 3 count. Like, he should be playing it a little bit more. The constable role, he's not playing it as much. He's not taking it as advantage as he should be, and it's making him look a bit weak. So,
now, do you think we're ever going to see Kurt Angle put a tiny cowboy hat on Constable Corbin's
head? Oh my God, I hope so. That would be amazing.
The nostalgia, baby. The nostalgia.
I think inevitably it's going to lead to a match with Jason Jordan. I think that's kind of what's going to happen.
You know what? Let's ban him.
Jason Jordan?
Let's ban him. Let's ban him until we could unban him eventually. I don't think we'll ever unban Bobby Roode. Or
what? Who? You can't say the name. You just come on.
Okay, and we also mentioned Ty Dillinger earlier, and he's also fucking banned.
Was he?
So yeah, he was. Yeah, he blocked us on Twitter. So
right.
Are you down? You want to block Jason Jordan?
Let's block Jason Jordan.
All right, Jason Jordan, you've been banned. You're banned. Okay, and before we wrap it up today, we got to talk about this. Talk of the town. Hulk Hogan is back with. Not back with, but he's involved again with the WWE. What the fuck is going on?
Well, I think he did his time. I think now the WWE realized, okay, Hulk Hogan, you can't erase him from history.
He is number one, right?
Yeah, not the number one wrestler, but I think the number one face in terms of notoriety. Everybody knows who Hulk Hogan is.
He's the Mickey Mouse of the WWE.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And yes, he said some nasty things that he shouldn't have said, and he did his time, and the WWE said, hey, go away for 2 years, 3 years, and we will talk to you a bit later when things have settled down. And things have settled down, and they're trying now. And apparently they were filming backstage his apologies to everybody, or maybe it's a group apology, I'm not sure. But now the WWE came out, I read today, denying this and saying, oh, no, we weren't filming it for a documentary, or we weren't filming it for an episode.
It's for sure an episode of 24.
Yeah, so we'll see. Yeah. So either they're liars, or they're just pretending to be, they're keeping it a secret. So yes, Hulk Hogan is back. A lot of people are raising eyebrows and wondering why. I know New Day came out with a statement kind of, saying their opinion on it. Check it out if you're interested. Mark Henry said some things. Booker T said some things. So, I think it's obviously in Hulk's best favor to be on, best interest.
Yeah, I was brain farting there too. To be on his best behavior.
On his best behavior, and I think he will be. And this is probably the last chance for Hulk Hogan as is. So we'll see. He's back in the Hall of Fame. That's a step in the right direction. Mm-hmm. Who knows? He'll be back on TV sooner than later, I assume. Maybe SummerSlam, maybe Survivor Series. Longest, I would say, would be WrestleMania. But the Hulkster is back in the WWE, brother.
The Hulkamaniacs are there, and the Talkamaniacs are here. And that wraps up another episode of Talkamania. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And don't forget, check us out on Twitter, @_Talkamania. Check us out on ProWrestlingTees.com/Talkamania. Buy yourself some merch. We got some sweet-ass merch. We got 4 designs. 4. And you get 4 weeks of ads running on our podcast when you buy one. So buy one. I don't care if you're a content creator, YouTube video guy, a band, you write short stories or poems. I don't care if you make porn. We're going to plug it. And then we're going to plug it. Link us, please. Yeah. So, without further ado, Can I say that at the end of an episode? Either way, before I screw this up anymore, J-Bomb's out. Dez, say bye.
Have a happy Rusev Day, guys.
Matchka.
Suckers walk.
Oh, wait, where's my thing?
Do you want a massage?